You're in a laundry room. It's 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night in August. It's August 6th. It is 7 o'clock on the nose, and what a nose it is. At this time, we're going to be getting together to get ourselves over the hump of new week. And I thought, wow, what a hump. Because when I woke up this morning, my right eye was a little itchy. So what the hell? I said, anyway, I gave it a good rub, just woke up and I gave it a good rub. Oh, and man, the rub feel good. So I started really laying into it. Rubbing that right eye. Sleepy Frank waking up like a bear out of hibernation. And the eye felt weird. I said, why is it? Are my eyelashes stuck underneath the lid or something like that? What the hell's going on? Went into the bathroom, about to go downstairs, and I noticed that again. My right eyelid is noticeably more puffy than the other. So what the hell is that? Am I getting a sty? And so I went downstairs. I said, Laura, and of course Aurora's right there. They're just having some because Aurora comes and recruits Lauren at like 6 o'clock in the morning and brings her on the back porch. So they're already well into their day when I wake up at about an hour and a half later or something. But they're both looking at my eye like, yeah, it's puffy. It wasn't red. It wasn't conjunctivitis. It wasn't pink eye. It also didn't look like a sty. I'm going through everything. I was like, damn. So I'm putting in some, Visine because it's kind of dry. Got the ice pack on it. And finally, after a while, it starts calming down. I don't know. Maybe I just rubbed it too hard. Wouldn't be the first time I've been told that. And but first time with an eye. I just said the eye just looked terrible. I sent it to my doctor. I said, what do you think this is? She said, get some antihistamine ointment or antihistamine drops. So I'm like, okay. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't think this is histamine related. I don't know what the hell it is. But everything was okay, and now I'm here with you, and my eyes are fine. So we'll see how I wake up tomorrow, and hopefully we're okay. Hopefully we're fine. Well, at that point, I went and I wrote tonight's show, and we'll talk about how it changed in a little bit, because it has changed. And the guest we had tonight will be with us in September instead. But for now, it's Wednesday. It's a Wednesday in August. It's an overcast day. It seems like it's going to be a little rainy out there tonight. Maybe it'll set the mood a little bit, because I have pivoted to something I think that we're going to do just fine with. And I need your help with it. We're going to open up the lines for crazy stories. We're going to open up the lines for a first time in a while. Inside information. There's going to be the inside information hotline will be open. And there's a lot of great stuff that we'll be doing. Then, of course, we have extra innings after the fact, after the end credits on pilled.net, where I have some really fun stuff for extra innings tonight. And as well as just reading the chat room and the scroll of the chat room, and that's it. It's going to be a good one. And tomorrow is going to be great too, because we have Giulio Anselmo on the show. He's a clinical psychologist. And we're going to be talking about the unconscious mind, which is probably going to be the first installment of what will be a series of discussions that Giulio and I have, because he's a very interesting guy who does very interesting work, and he's a fan of the show. And we've been talking for some time he's contributed to the newsletter, and we've been talking some time in email, and I'm happy that we're finally getting around to this. On Friday night, it sounds like Sal the Butcher, the Barbell Butcher, wants to come by. Whether or not Matt joins us, I don't know. That's dependent on whether or not he gets an overtime gig or something. But perhaps Mike Baldwin will stop by as well. Then Saturday night, I'm going to release a thread on Twitter and on the forum probably tomorrow. I want to start getting your contributions for a Saturday night music video rip. I want the cheesiest, most outrageous music videos that you can think of all time. Things that make you go, that will make you wince, cringe, make you go, "What the hell was that?" Saturday night will be a little bit of fun. You and I. and perhaps a hookah. I don't know. I've been in the mood for one of those for months, and it's got to happen. It's got to happen. Though tonight is 1 month from the main event now, the Quite Frankly Jamboree. And I've decided what the dress code is going to be, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be business casual. But as I told John Ward, no jackets required. Okay? Go as if you're going to a nice restaurant. No jackets required. Business casual. Whatever the hell you want within that category. And that's what I'm sticking to. And hopefully it starts becoming it's a nice crisp September evening and not one of those Indian summer nights. And I think that'll be fine. So yeah. What else do we have in the opening here? Oh, I have some very important grab bag updates here. You ready for this? Heading back over to the WNBA, it's happened again. And you remember we were reading that tweet last night from Sophie Cunningham. She's a WNBA player, a currently serving player. It's supposedly like slavery over there, or the military, where you're not paid much, but you're just doing your duty. That's what the WNBA is. A currently serving WNBA player, Sophie Cunningham, she tweeted last night, "Please stop throwing green dildos onto the court. It's going to hit one of us. One of us is going to get hurt." She got hit by one last night. She got hit by one last night. It's like a tractor beam of irony. Or what are the chances? Maybe it's not irony. Is that irony? You guys discuss among yourselves whether or not that's irony or just something else. Coincidence? Coincidence. Or is it? Anyway, third green dildo has been tossed onto the WNBA basketball court. Angry player kicks it off the court. Very angry. I can see there it is. In what is now the third. I thought this is the fourth. I've seen 4, total of 4. There's the tweet from yesterday. Stop throwing dildos on the court. You're going to hurt one of us. And well, it happened again. It did. It happened again. And I don't know. It's good. They better stop. Whoever's doing it, it's going too far. Someone's going to lose an eye. Someone's going to get a sty. Okay? It's the last thing you need. But, we had the caller last night, the dunce cap caller. I believe his name was Rob. He emailed me after the fact. He said, "Frank, I think the dildos are being done by the teams themselves. If you've ever been in a production room, 13 camera angles, instant camera switching, and a guaranteed small delay. If they didn't want that on TV, it would not have been on TV." I said, Well, there's certainly no excuse for the close-ups. There's certainly no excuse for the close-ups. But basketball arenas are actually pretty small places. They really are. Compared to like a baseball field or a football field or something like that. They're pretty small places. There's a lot of ways that you can divert attention. You can go to the benches. You can do a close up of players. You don't have to actually look at the little phallic object that is on the court over there. But I don't know. Not like a baseball stadium. When something unruly happens and something's going on, everybody's looking at the outfield because somebody's streaking across the outfield. I always wanted to see it. They say, "Well, we're not going to put it on TV. It's going to encourage more streaking." Perhaps it will, because let's be honest about the dildos. I have a couple of people email me, "Frank, they're concerned. Why you call it dildo?" Because that's what my 6th grade teacher called it. That's why. Mrs. K. Much like Special K. "Frank, why are you talking about dildos with your 6th grade teacher?" Well, I think we were in 7th or 8th grade at that point, but we met her in 6th grade. So she'll always be my 6th grade teacher, science teacher. And I think Shakespeare popped up at one point, or some kind of old school theater where women weren't allowed to be in theater companies or something like that. So if they were going to be cast, they had to be cast as men, and they had to stuff their pants with something, a bulge, a cod piece, something like that. And she, much to our delight, because we were just, it was raucous laughter. She said, or they would stuff like a dildo. And everyone's looking at it. Like, she just said that for the rest of my life. That's it. These are the memories. Mrs. Cassabaum, dildo. And that's all I think about now when something like this happens to the WNBA these past 3 times. So you can, if you don't like it, shove it. Don't care. It's my word now. I have completely co-opted it. And that's that. All right, let's see. But I do want to see, I should just amend, I close out my thoughts by saying I still do want to see a full-sized sex doll thrown onto the infield at Yankee Stadium. I would like to see a blow-up doll, maybe a blow-up doll. That'd be funny to see a blow-up doll just being passed around and bounced around or something like that. You know, there's no like features on it. It just looks like a human bipedal creature, but it's a balloon, you know, and that's the most practical way. Although I think it's funny if it's just a big slab of rubber somehow gets flopped onto the field. How could you even do that? Definitely an inside job. Drop it in with a helicopter, a news chopper. NBC is part of it. Like, we have to do this. We have to do this. The Yankees aren't very fun to watch right now. So, but I'm not trying to give anybody any ideas. What do you want? Hey, a little bit more on that topic. So, kids, get out of here just for a second. This one's a little bit more grown up. A little bit more grown up than the funny little floppy things that are bouncing all over the place right now in the WNBA. 3, 2, 1. Parents, is it you and I? If it's not, it's your fault. I was reading this outrageous article. I just had to see what this was on the New York Post. The headline is, Risky Sex Act that's becoming increasingly popular can cause stroke, seizures, and even paralysis. I'm like, wow. Okay, you got me. What is it? This one sexual urge you may want to smother. While Americans are statistically speaking losing interest in sex, one dangerous act is taking hold. The risky practice has been normalized by the industry, the adult entertainment industry, despite the potential fatal consequences of partaking. It can lead to serious injury, brain injury, all that stuff. I'm like, okay, get around to it. I know where we're going to. And here it is. Strangulation. That's it. A study published in... I swear to God, when I saw this, I said, you got to be kidding me, man. You have to. A study published by the Journal of Archives of Sexual Behavior this week found that more than half of Australian adults aged 35 and under reported being strangled by a partner during sex. I was waiting for something like a donkey punch or the Cleveland steamer or the flying camel. Nope. Just good old strangling. That's all. Which used to be attempted murder. That just used to be attempted murder, but that's just it. And I'm sitting here. I said, okay, 2 more paragraphs. Sexual strangulation involves applying pressure to the neck and restricting blood flow or breathing. Yeah, I know. That's usually the point of strangling somebody. But of course, you're not going all the way. Now, here's another one. In sex play, it's usually referred to as choking. And that's where I stopped, because I was only going to give it a couple more sentences, and when I saw this, like I'm thinking that we're going to get some Latin term for it, but no. In other terms, in sex play, because strangulation could also just mean what it's always mean: you're killing somebody. But this is like partially killing somebody in a controlled way, like it's. And then they bring out the more colloquial term, choking. Even though choking is different, they say, and technically describes the partial obstruction of the trachea. And I said, of course, some midwit sex coach would probably go on for an hour on some podcast out there about the subtle differences between the two, between strangulation and choking. Don't want to sound uneducated on the matter. It's very important. So watch out, everybody. Watch out. Don't turn the lights off next time, because you just never know what's going to happen. Anyway, no flying camel. And here's one last thing for you in the opening. From Nick Sorter, former special counsel Robert Mueller, who was subpoenaed yesterday, has been discovered in a memory care home. Per Paul Sperry's reporting. So he's in dementia care now. And Nick Sorter says Democrats use dementia-ridden fools as their puppets. We saw Mueller's dimension years ago when he was lost and doddering through the Russia collusion hoax testimony. Yeah, that was August 2019. It was his swan song, because a couple of weeks later they started with Ukraine and what would lead to impeachment 1. Where Robert Mueller, we were saying, no, is this clinical, or is it just that, is it everything that we thought, that you had the Clinton lawyers and everything like that? They were putting together this ridiculous presentation for the public that was going to be completely it would be completely inconsequential and inconclusive, but it was always going to leave a big smear on Donald Trump and a big question mark. And yeah, there's something here. He's an unindicted felon and this and that. But Robert Mueller was lost, and we knew that it was either dementia, or he was never really a big part of the operation. He was just a front man because they needed somebody with the illusion of integrity out there running the special counsel, because he was, 10 years or so the FBI director and all that stuff. So dementia care. Probably did a little bit too much strangling in his day, and now it's catching up to him. Let's get this one started, shall we? Welcome to the show. It's Wednesday night, and away we go.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's rock!
I gotta say, this is one of my favorite main themes to a movie, and it's my favorite movie. It's my default favorite movie. I have to say that maybe I love other movies just as much, but not more than As Good as It Gets. And this is the main theme. And Hans Zimmer did the soundtrack for As Good as It Gets, but it always just feels like such a bright sunny day in New York City in the mid to late 90s, and I don't know, flowers are in bloom. Just nice like that, and it sets the perfect tone for a movie that I really love. We should do a favorite movie theme song, television theme song night. That would be a good thing to do on Saturdays and stuff like that, when I don't have, family and friends and or a special interview going on, when we have special topics and request lines open and all that stuff. That'll be nice, especially in the dead of winter. But as for this evening, number one, let me just say again, I already have a couple of people who have submitted their essay to the show for tickets. We're going to be doing a ticket giveaway a week from tonight on the 13th. We're going to announce the winners. I have 2 tickets to give away, and you can compete for one if you really, really could actually get here and would use the ticket if you got it. What Quite Frankly means to you. 200 words. It's just a long email, 200 words maximum. Tell me how you found the show and what does quite frankly mean to you. And we're going to have some fun with giving those two away. Also, do you have an incredible story, a survival, a story of a haunting or true haunting, or you know somebody that has been in an incredible position or invented something, whatever the hell it is. And I don't care if they have any following whatsoever. Just looking for interesting people, interesting story, life stories. You know, who among you, and I know we have quite a few Forrest Gumps out there. I'm not talking about whether or not you're impaired or some way, but people who have just been in the right place at the incredibly right time and just have seen things and done things and opportunities have just fallen in their laps. I know that you're out there. All the Forrest Gumps in the chat room and in the general audience. Get in touch with me, Frank at quitefrankly.tv. I want to hear of your incredible stories and your life stories, whatever it is. Get in touch with me, please. That's just the way. That's the way we got to go forward. Now we have some crazy stories tonight. I want wild, crazy stories tonight. You know, did you find the body of a Sasquatch by a dumpster in the, you know, in a 7-Eleven parking lot or something like that, or some wild beast, or you found an alien implant, some kind of a foreign piece of technology was in your body. It was discovered. Incidentally, it was removed. Nobody knows what the hell it is. It doesn't have to be so crazy. It could just be one of the most inexplicable things that happened to you, or a crazy night out with friends, and who knows? And that's what we're going to be doing tonight, because we had a guest and that guest got sick. I got him already in for a September 18th date. It'll all be fine. And that's just the way these things go sometimes, folks. You have one carefully planned episode after another. Whatever it is, it changes, it goes away. Sometimes it goes away at the last minute. And you have to scramble and find something. But you know something? The show must go on. That's what my father told me when I was 5. I was in my first community theater play. The play was called Seasons. And I had a bout of diarrhea. Had diarrhea all day. Green apple splatters all day. And I had to go to the bathroom. Dad, I'm sick. I got the cramps, whatever. It was just diarrhea. Said the show has to go on. The show must go on. So I had to go to the bathroom in between scenes if I had to, whatever. But the show must go on. Well, guess what? I have diarrhea again tonight. And you, my friends, are my Imodium. You are my Imodium AD. And if you don't call in, I will drown before you. And it'll be very, very disturbing for people to see me flounder that way. You must call in. Now, the open line that I have here is going to be, like I said, for crazy stories. What the hell what was it? I mean, last time we had some really crazy stories that called in. Just give me a buzz. As far as the inside information hotline, and I already have inside information sent to me. I have a couple of stories that were sent to me that were on ice already. And I got this. I'm going to read to you. This is some interesting stuff. Came from a viewer of the show through the mail at the P.O. box that we have set up for the show. If you ever want to send something, a gift, a contribution, whatever it is, the P.O. box is on the sponsor tab on quitefrankly.tv. So the open line for just wild stories is on the screen, 914-200-0269, and we will take one right off the bat before we introduce the other hotline. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, this Stone Arrow. I've got the story about a glitch in the Matrix.
Okay.
Matrix experience.
Stone Arrow, are you on a some kind of a headset or speakerphone?
No, I'm on a landline.
Okay, well you have to get closer to the receiver and give me a little bit of a boost in your voice there. But I want to hear it. Go ahead, glitch in the Matrix.
Okay, so driving down the street, getting to an intersection, I'm in the left-hand turn lane. I see a lady in the oncoming traffic who's got her flashers on, She's got her door open and she's trying to push her vehicle, obviously disabled vehicle.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you? I just need you to get a little bit louder. You're registering very low on the audio over here.
Okay, sorry. Is that better?
A lot better.
Okay. All right. So, came to an intersection. Lady in the oncoming traffic has her flashers on, disabled vehicle. She's got her door open, trying to push it. Can't really push it that far. So I pull over really quick. We're talking like 7 seconds. There's a gas station on the corner right where she's at. I put my truck into park. I go out to help her. I rush through the bushes, get to the corner. She's gone. She's completely gone. Well, there's another guy coming down the way that if she was continuing on, she would have passed him. He comes over and both of him and I are looking at each other like, and I asked him, I said, did you just see a lady here in a white car that was trying to he goes, yeah, I came over to help her push it out of the way. I'm like, yeah, me too. Like, where the hell did she go? And there was a clear view in every direction, and she was gone.
And the car. Not only her, but the car.
Both witnessed the same thing. And we were just standing there for a few seconds on the corner looking at each other. It was bizarre.
So, but like I had just asked right now, it's not only the woman that had gotten, that had disappeared, but also the car she was pushing.
Yes, gone. And it was like you could see like a mile in each direction. And him and I were coming from opposite directions. She would have had to pass him. And gone. She just disappeared. Her car, everything gone.
Dear God. Well, that's something. That's something. And thank God for the other guy, because that's one of those things where you might have spent the rest of your life. You're still scratching your head over it, but at least you had that other person to assure you're not going nuts.
I know. We almost had to poke each other. I'm like, are you real?
I would have had to. Yeah, I would have had to. Wow. Oh, have anything freaky like that happened to you since?
It's been a weird couple of weeks. Yeah, actually, yeah. I've got attacked by a homeless guy. Chased me down the street with a knife.
Where do you live?
Close to Eugene, Oregon.
Okay. I hear a lot about Oregon being that kind of knifey these days.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is. And a grand jury here is not what I expect of my peers. It's not my peers.
Okay. Well,
one of the person in the grand jury that I had to with the knife, Bethel Carl guy. She just spent her whole time making origami giraffes and swans. And
okay. Well, all the best to you out there. Make sure you stay safe. Keep your head on a swivel, and thank you for the call.
All right. Thanks, Frank.
Thank you. Take care. Wow. Okay. Well, that's something. That's something. Trying to administer aid to somebody, a woman who is pushing her car along, and the car just disappears. And there was somebody else that was responding to the very same situation. Thank God for that other person. You have just a little bit of validation there. John from Connecticut. Go ahead, Willie.
That was responding to the very same situation. Thank God for that other person. You have just a little bit
Willie.
of validation there.
January 5th.
What?
The night before January 6th, right?
Okay.
I'm going down there to meet Red Pill and Season Pixels and Doso and everybody, right? And, whatever, went down there. Thought I was going to, see a party or a campground or whatever. When I got there, we, had a meet-up in Pennsylvania somewhere. We drove all the way to D.C. with a crew of people. And I guess they were on some kind of group chat or something. And everybody just dispersed at their hotels. So I'm like, I got nowhere to go. So whatever. But I got right down to a mile from Trump's house, right? And figured out where to go or whatever. I found a parking spot, to try and figure out stuff. Try to call people. Nobody would answer the phones, whatever. But I heard lots of music going on. I was on K Street and what they were calling BLM Boulevard, but it was actually Pennsylvania Boulevard, like a mile down from Trump's, right? And there's this big, boom, boom, boom music going on. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll park the truck here. And everywhere it says, you're not supposed to park this and that. I was in front of a VFW and like a pizza joint or something. And there's like this Jesus car next to me. I mean, it's all painted up with Jesus stuff all over it. It's pretty cool. So anyway, I go there, right? It's about 10 o'clock at night now. I'm like, well, I'm truck camping, because I can't find, anywhere to stay tonight or, crash on the floor of somebody's hotel room or whatever. I'm like, no big deal. It's cold, but, I got a truck. I got gear. So we go to the thing, right? And they got the Black Lives Matter band blasting this stuff with the fuck Trump music and the dum like this and the bright lights and the sirens going everywhere. It's crazy, right? And you get the girls on the bullhorns making more noise than anybody else. And then like the Proud Boy guys or something complaining to the other guys. The cops protecting the Black Lives Matter guys. And whatever. I got my first taste of pepper spray then, because the cops shot some crowd that got close together. Think I might have even seen the Epps there that night because he was talking about we got to go in the Capitol tomorrow or some crap, Talked to some reporters from different countries. They had different languages. I remember hearing one that sounded like they were Polish or something. I'm Polish, so I kind of know the language. It's just a hair. But whatever. So that happened. Got out of there, slept in the truck. Got up in the morning. Made friends with the Jesus guy, and I needed a couple packs of smokes. So he gives me a ride to a pack of smokes.
Okay, so let's get to the crazy part here now.
All right, so we get up to watch Trump, right? And he shows up a little bit late or whatever. Every time I use my phone, I'm trying to hook up with the crew, right? Zozo and Brad and the whole crew, Uncensored Abe, everybody was supposed to be there.
All right.
They were there, right? And I'm like 50 yards away from them. You can't find nobody. The crowd was gigundous. I mean, I was at the Indy 500 once, and they have like 500,000 people. It was that size or bigger. There's just so many people. And every time you use your phone, your battery would take 25% out of it. So, I called, I tried to call people. I called my wife. She tried to call people, and my battery's going down. I just turned my phone off. Fuck it.
Okay, right? Willie, let's get right to it now.
Trump says go up to the Capitol, right? So we get up to the Capitol, right? So we're right, I'm almost there, right? And all of a sudden, we're singing like God Bless America and stuff out front, and they shot at us with tear gas. And where I'm at, there's like a family on a blanket having like lunch. Or whatever, because it was about 1 o'clock-ish, 2 o'clock or something. And I don't know why I ran towards it, because it was coming towards the family on a blanket,
Mm-hmm.
So I ran up to that, and another guy and me, we stomped it into the ground, and then we got all fucked up with the gas, right? But we buried it in the mud. It was kind of cold and muddy there, So some nurse lady or something comes over, pours it over my head, and I just like snapped then, right? And then I got into a crowd, and when you're in a crowd, you got to move or you fall down, you're trampled, right? Because I got into like a push, right, or whatever.
Okay, Willie.
So whatever. So we get into the Capitol, and we walk into the fucking joint, right? And there's this girl screaming for help, right? Inside, screaming. I need help, right? So I get to the point, I found her. And guess what? She's screaming on the bullhorn and doesn't need no fucking help. Get bashed by the cops a couple times, this and that. Get the fuck out of there. People are yelling inside. It's a trap. Get out of there. We walk back up the stairs. Freaked out, right? Bashed by cops with them metal sticks,
Okay, so your crazy story is your January 6th experience. And
yeah.
Okay.
And it gets better.
Well, there you go. And
I go in front of the cameras, right? And this black guy, I think his name is Jaden X or whatever, right? He's the one that got paid all the money for from CNN or whatever for the shit that got released in the beginning or whatever. I think he sort of got arrested or whatever, but nobody really knows. In any event, right? I picked up garbage with a black guy on TV.
Well, that's good.
That.
You know,
never saw that
that's
stuff, right?
okay. All right. Well, we
So
can't.
I went too long with it? I
Willie,
don't
we
know.
can't
It
recap
gets
the whole
even
day.
better.
We get it. We can't. You're not telling me anything. You went there, and you got. First of all, the most surprising thing so far is that was the first time you ever felt tear gas and or pepper spray. I thought you would have at least have had some kind of a fun.
I know when it was before. We got hit 3 times in there, but it made me nuts, and it was like fog of war and shit, and then women screaming and trying to help people.
Okay,
and it did help.
Okay, well, thank you. Well,
whatever. I got the fuck out of it. I bumped into the horn guy, right?
Okay.
On his way in. That's how the timeline went. I was already in and out when he went in.
Well, I appreciate the call, Willie. Thank you so much for the.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy. It's
for like 4 years.
You're in the middle.
I didn't see Matt, and I wish I did.
You're in the middle of a war zone.
Taking it.
Okay. I get it. I
love you, man.
Listen, if you do me one thing. If you do find any footage. Any broadcast footage where...
Oh, it's out there.
Well, then...
I don't know where it is, but a lot of it all got blown out.
Okay.
I was on HBO, Year in Review.
Well, if you ever find a time...
If
you ever find a timestamp, then please send it to me, because I would love to be able to look at it myself. All right, man?
Yeah, also had the clip. He can't find it neither. I think it got all scrubbed and stuff. But yeah, I was on a lot of that insight. I was there on whatever day. I was on it. My buddies sent me a clip.
Yeah, I know you told us. You've told us before. You told us before. That's why
I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I thought that this was going to be a very specific. Well, thank you for the call. I like it before. You had told us before. That's why I thought this was going to be a very specific thing that happened in the middle. Actually, the January 5th story was actually kind of interesting there too. Because. You know what January 5th means now. It's just like you start having those labor pains for the new country that was about to be born. That was the real labor pains, and then it started going into full on, and it wasn't even like a birth the next day. The stillbirth was inauguration day when they made Joe Biden. They inaugurated Joe Biden in front of nobody a couple of minutes before noon in a completely chained off, walled off, federally occupied, militarily occupied capital. That was the stillbirth of the new country. But that you want to talk about labor pains, and for him to be there on the 5th and kind of it's all kind of boiling up, because there's a lot of people in that city that knew exactly what was going to go down the next day. But I thought there was going to be something else. I thought we were going to get a little bit something else, not the play-by-play. Thank you for the call, Willie. All right, let's see here. 914-200-0269. Whatever the hell you got, I want to hear it. And then here's something else I got for you. And there's a story over here I think was pretty cool too. Well, not cool. Actually, kind of freaky. I have the hotline. I guess I'll open this up mainly in the second half. But the hotline for inside information is on the screen right now. 914-359-4853. Let's take another call. All right, you're here. Give me your story.
Hey, Frank, Aaron from Oregon.
What's up,
How you
man?
doing?
Good to have you on, Oregon.
You got me good hearing me?
Yes, I hear you great.
First time I've ever called anyone. Yeah, no, I saw an angel.
Oh, let's hear about this one.
Wings and all.
Tell me about it.
Down by the river one day, I was walking with my girl, and all of a sudden we get the smell of death, just death. And I see a tent head back in the bushes there, and I'm like, we're not going to go any further. So we started to walk back to the rig, and I peered down this pathway towards the river, and there I saw these giant wings. And I pulled my phone out, and I was trying to take a picture, filming with my phone. And I took the picture, and I looked up, and he was looking right at me. And just big wings. And he was looking over his shoulder right at me. Wings were gone. He was just staring at me, like right through me. And I kind of felt bad, like I did something wrong. But I walked right out to him to the side of the river, and he was just looking around at amazement at everything. And I said, that's beautiful. And he said, yeah, it is. It's a big smile on his face. And then he kind of just walked away and went back and got in the car with my girlfriend. And I went to my picture to see if I got the picture came through. And nothing, no wings. I missed it. But then like 6 months later, my girl was going through my phone looking at all the pictures that we take of the kids and stuff, and she saw that picture of that dude out there by the river. She asked me about it, and I said, that was the picture I told you about, the guy, the angel. And she was looking at it, and he wasn't touching the ground.
You have this picture?
I do not have the picture. It was about 10 years ago.
Why would you ever delete a picture of an angel?
Oh, man. Well, I didn't delete it. My phone got destroyed.
Oh. Okay, so then, okay. I have to ask you the standard questions here. The first one is, you were completely sober when this happened?
Yes.
And you were down
it was about 4 o'clock down by the Yakima River in Washington.
Okay. And you're at the riverbed, and you said the first thing you smelled was that sickly sweet smell of death. Are you talking about you're talking about rotting flesh that could have been a body, an animal, or a person?
Well, when we got back in the car and realized that the picture didn't come out with the wings, I immediately called it in. And yes, they sent crew down there, and they found a dead body
of a person,
dead homeless man guy down there.
Okay, so it wasn't the angel that smelled.
No, there was actually a dead body down there.
So you were within what, 10 feet of a body? You just couldn't see it because it was in tall grass or something?
No, it was probably about 20 yards upstream.
And you talked to this angel. It had when you were discussing, and you had this exchange with the angel, this very sober exchange with the angel. Its wings were present. It was kind of
his wings were. As soon as I took the picture, I looked up and he was staring right at me, like he was staring through me, and I felt ashamed, like I was even trying to take the picture. I just walked out to him and said hello, and then I said it's beautiful, and he said yes it is, with a big smile on his face, and then I just walked on my way back to the car.
Was he there for transport duty? I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, if the body
there were no other vehicles in the parking lot. There was just.
I mean, transport of the soul. But then again, if the body's already smelling, it's been there for some time. I can't imagine that the angel would be that late.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. But yeah, just odd. Went to the picture later and saw that you could see the river flowing below his feet. He wasn't touching the ground when I took the picture.
Well, it sounds like you really believe what you saw, which makes it interesting.
Oh, I do believe what I saw.
Angels, and there was nothing but benevolence that came off of this. There was never a time when you felt like you might have been in the presence of something that had ulterior motives or was in any way malevolent.
He just seemed at total peace where he was at. He was looking with wonderment at the river, the butterflies, the shrubbery, and everything. And I said, it's beautiful. And he just grinned and said, yes, it is.
Sounds like a scene out of City of Angels. You ever see City of Angels with Nicolas Cage?
If I have, it's been a while.
Came out in 1997. They're all every morning, all the angels, they'll hang out on the beach to watch the sunrise. And they just, doesn't matter how many millennia they've been around to see it all. It's still like the first time. They just love it.
Yeah, that was the look for sure.
Anyways,
I always wanted to tell you that story, Frank. I'm glad I got it off my chest.
I'm glad you got in tonight because that's in, we always get, I always hear from people who have obviously some sort of an apparition in the house or UFO flyovers or other unexplained things. This is the first time that I've talked to somebody who has such a close encounter with an angelic being. So thank you so much for the call, sir.
Not a problem, Frank. Have a good night.
All right, take care. There you go. Wow. What do you think about that? I think he's telling the truth. 914-200-0269. 914-200-0269. Something else, man. And I was going to say, have you come in contact with some kind of an ancient winged creature? Thinking maybe pterodactyl? Been talking about pterodactyls a little bit more lately? Well, is there anything more ancient than an angel? 616, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Is this Frank?
Could be. Who's this?
This is Lee.
Lee, how are you, Lee?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How you doing?
I'm all right. You know, we're just talking, we're just passing the time tonight, trying to see what kind of incredible, unexplained, crazy stories people have from their past that they want to bring out for conversation this evening.
Well, regarding your previous caller,
Yeah.
I've seen an angel too.
Okay, I want to hear about this. Go
But
ahead.
no, my story is about like the flip side of that. Okay. So I'm going to date myself. This is before cell phones. I was in high school, right? And I was going over to a buddy of mine's place. So I arrive, and I mean, we're really familiar. So I just walk right in, right? And he's with 3 other buddies, and they're playing with the Ouija board. Okay. Well, on my way over there, I was thinking about buying a car, right? And I looked at this 69 Trans Am. I didn't have the money to buy it, you know. But regardless, you know, I checked it out, and then I headed over to my buddies. They're playing with the Ouija board. I sit down on the couch. I'm like, man, I don't believe in that stuff. And they're like, man, it works, man. It really works. I was like, okay, well, if it works, tell me what I'm thinking. And they, you know, passed the little thing around or whatever, and it was 69TA. And I just kind of turned like sheet white, and I got up and I left. So, yeah, that was kind of trippy.
That's incredible. I mean, well, listen, it's one of those things where your friends, they can screw around. They can type girls, they can type boobs, whatever the hell it is. But that combination, and your hand was not on the planchet, however they call it.
I was across the room on the couch.
And they were the ones that produced 69 Trans Am.
Probably within, I would say, 2 minutes of me entering the place. I told them that I don't believe that stuff. You know, it doesn't work. I was like, well, if you really think it works, what am I thinking? And
you did not tell them about your
not
pursuit.
At all. Like I said, this is before the time of cell phones or anything like that.
Wow,
I just
man.
walked in, saw what they were doing, sat down on the couch, and expressed my disbelief.
That's something. Yeah, no, I would not say that was angelic, but that is definitely something. And that combination of numbers and letters coming out, especially when you're not the one with the hands on the piece, that if that doesn't make you wonder, or if that doesn't confirm something, I don't know what does. But that's incredible.
To be honest with you, it's actually kind of scary.
Yeah, it's horrific.
I mean, needless to say, I've never placed my hands on one of those boards, you know. But yeah, that's my little like glitch in the matrix. And I do believe that there are things out there that most of us can't see. I've dated a couple of empaths, and I think that some people can see or whatever, but I don't know. I've just never been into that stuff. So
no, I'm with you. There's a lot I'm apprehensive about, and it's the little things here too. I don't know what you think about this, but if you are using the internet at all these days, if you're on Instagram or wherever the hell else where ads are served to you, you're probably going to come across some sort of an ad. And now that I say it, you're probably going to find it tonight. There's these companies out there that offer AI image generating apps where you put in a picture of your child and it will age them. It will show you what they're going to look like when they are older. And I'm completely against that. Just personally, I don't want to know. I don't want to. It's one of those things where, and the reason why I bring this up is because when faced with some sort of a situation where you can supposedly get an answer about what is coming for you in the future, or any of these headlines that come out about one computer or another, they with 99% accuracy, they can tell you the day you're going to die. Or even if it's something that seems far more innocent, what is your lovely daughter going to look like when she's 21, even though she's 4 right now? I find it incredibly, the thought of being able to press that button and just to be able to be dragged that far into the future and see even what would maybe be a highly accurate portrayal of what he or she would look like 21 years later or something. That shit scares the hell out of me. It scares the hell out of me.
Scary, because it's almost like you're opening up a portal that you don't want to open.
I know. And I also feel like, especially when it comes to the future and where you're going, I feel like you almost got to like earn the right to you have to like earn the future. And I feel like there's an emotional like, no, please. I never want to see anybody's artist rendering of what Aurora is going to look like in 21. Let me just earn those years and be able to see it happen gradually for myself. But, deferring to any bit of technology, whether it be digital or what you're talking about right here with this analog technology of the board, I feel like using that to skip over time and to do something supernatural is really disturbing and scary to me.
Well, I tell you what, I used to be a handsome devil, and I wouldn't want to know what I now look like at over 50. So there you go, man.
Well, and then you have me and my buddies over here who, I guess because it's me, it's us, and we're not doing it to other people. We had a lot of fun aging ourselves on the Face app. Obviously, Matt, he aged himself so far into the future that he predicted the day he was going. He actually predicted his own circumstances of his death. Did you remember that picture?
No, I don't remember that picture. You don't remember but Matt's funny, man. You should have him on more.
Oh, well, listen, I try. We'll see. Thanks for the call.
Well, this is my second call in. The one before is whenever he had the archaeologist on, and I said what would be weird would be finding all the silicone things.
That's right. That's right. Well, it's good to hear from you again, and this was another great contribution. Thank you, sir.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
Take care. Yeah, hopefully Matt shows up on Friday night. Don't you? I showed you a couple of those pictures the other day. Matt at the old person's home. He's getting older and older. He's at the bowling alley, and then there was one where he made himself like 95 years old, bearded, wrinkly, and he's laying on a beach towel at the beach, and he just dies at the beach. I always thought that's just hilarious. I don't know why it's so funny to me. I know it kind of just flies in the face of everything I said I wouldn't do. I wouldn't do for Aurora. But when it comes to the guys and self-deprecating humor, then sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's funny. So yeah, here's Matt. There's Matt later in life. Now the funny thing is that whenever we would make pictures of ourselves, like an advanced age, we would always make sure that when we took the picture that we were going to with the intention of aging it, we would always make sure that like the mouth was kind of open and we kind of deadened the eyes a little bit to show that there's just a little bit of life. The spark is good. The sharpness is gone a little bit. And what makes this so funny, this picture of Matt, is he's got the mouth hanging. I can see him actually posing for this picture. The fact that he's got the mouth hanging open is actually secondary to where the hell is he? He looks like he's in the middle of like a development, like a house that is either being renovated or something. How did he get into this construction zone? Why is this old man wandered into a construction zone? Get him out of there. He's going to hurt himself. I love that bewildered look. And then, of course, here's Matt's death. That's it. 97 years old on an American flag towel down at Oakland Beach. And, should we be doing it? Hey, God bless us if we live to 97. God bless us. So, yeah, no, the 69 Trans Am, no, I'm not down with that. I can't wait. I got to tell Matt to make more of those. All right, let's take a call. Take another call. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Wow. Okay, I took you off speaker.
Hello. Good
Quite
to have
frankly?
you. Yes, who's this?
My name's Gloria.
Gloria,
Glow
welcome to the
America
show. Great to have you
in
on.
the chat.
Oh, wait, what's your name in the in the chat?
Glow America.
Got you. Well, it's
I haven't been chatting a whole lot, but anyways, so crazy, wonderful story. It actually was the last day of October, 2022. I had to go to, wow, I've never been on the air. Okay.
Hey,
my brother.
Listen, Gloria, just remember, nobody's listening. Nobody watches this show. It's just you. It's you and me.
Okay, well,
that's it.
Okay, you really do sound different on the phone.
Thanks.
Like I would have asked, is this prank? But I know how you laugh.
Go ahead. Take some more shots. If it's gonna calm you down, take some more shots at me before you begin your story. Go ahead.
I love it. I love you. I tell people about your show. It's so cool. Anyways, I've never called in. I tried calling right after this happened that first week in 2022. I kept trying when you had anyways. So my brother was very ill and was dying, and that part's super sad. And I flew back with two sisters to Nebraska. And anyways, he was very much a Christian. He knew where he was going, and there's a bunch of stories in between. But on the airplane ride home, I was barely in the air, and I looked out my window. And mind you, when I got on the plane, I was like putting my hair over my face to hide my tears. And I'm not a crybaby, but I felt terrible because Gerard was off life support, but he hadn't died. I'm like, how can we leave? So I look out the window, and we are like 15 minutes into flight, and I kept seeing something shiny on the ground, and I'm like, wow, that has to be, like a boat launch or something, because it was so sparkly. And then I looked at my watch, and it was 5:15, and right then all I could see out of my window on the airplane was this huge, brightest white. It just looked like a cloud up and down, right, instead of up in the sky, and it turned into a cross. And at the same time, all these things I was looking at on the ground, on dry land, it wasn't water. They just started exploding. And it was, I just looked at my watch again, and at 15-minute intervals, I looked at my watch, and I said, Lord, is that you coming to take Gerard home, you and your angels? And I'm not kidding you. I was filled with peace, and I was sober. It went on for over an hour. Not the cross. That was only there for a few minutes. But these things bursting they looked like the brightest white circles I've ever seen. And they were flying up in the air and just bursting. And it was a celebration taking him home. I mean, when I got off the plane, I didn't get to sit with my sisters because it was very last minute planning. And when my one sister saw me, I said, if Gerard died at 5:00, God showed me something. And she said I was just glowing. I was beaming. And there's so much more to the story, but that's the cool part.
Well, when you say that, I always think about how, somebody could just as easily say, well, here's a scientific reason for what you saw or whatever. And everybody might have saw the same thing, but I'm with you. I'm with you in where I believe that there's just, I don't know, when it comes to time and space and every individual person out there, I just think that there's revelation that's customized for every individual person. And perhaps there is something that you might see. Maybe you and I are even on the boardwalk one night, and we're at different parts of the boardwalk, and we're looking at the very same with the very same firework display, but something in the display registered differently for each of us. And there's some kind of a message that came through because we were in a position to receive that message, whereas everybody else on the boardwalk who's watching the same fireworks go off was not in that zone. Who the hell knows, And I'm totally with you on that. And I just think it's just fascinating to hear those remembrances in that condition.
yeah, it was fascinating, and I've all calmed down now. But I think part of it was I'm the sixth child of 9. Gerard was the fifth. We were very close. All of us are close. We're still close. And the next morning, I just boldly typed out this text to 12 of my family and explained what happened. And I'm like, how is this even possible but God? You know, I think he gave it to me for peace, and I hope it helps you guys find peace. And it did. I mean, they called and they were like, tell me what happened. I had one brother say, were you eating mushrooms? I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
But I read the Bible every day, and I know it's real. It's very real. There's a spiritual realm that we don't see, and I don't want to see the dark side of it, but you know, I know people do. But
well,
anyways,
that's something that's
fabulous.
that's for another, maybe the dark side for another night. But for now, Gloria, thank you for the call. This was great.
Thank you, Frank. And yeah, everybody loves you.
Wow.
Thank you for what you do.
I'll take that
and
one.
And your lovely wife and child. Oh my goodness, your family. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll take that one to the bank. I really will. On weeks like this, it hits extra hard, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I was actually thinking about Lauren. When Lauren found out that my guest had to reschedule, she's like, "Do you need me and Aurora to come in as guests?" I said, no, not tonight. It's all right. But I almost did that. I almost went live with Lauren over there, and Aurora, God knows what she'll be doing. She has enough of attention span to do a show with me now, but I don't know for how long. She would probably have left the room at some point to rearrange the entire green room and put all the drink coasters in different order, and then go into the music room to play my drums. And that would have been fine. You know, if she needs to stay up past 9, if it's a special occasion or something like that, she's able to do it without destroying herself, without ruining the next day. So the day is coming very soon where Rora is going to be able to go with Daddy to the studio, and while I'm doing my work, I can just trust her to play with whatever kind of, toys we have around here. Of course, it's all guitars. It's guitars and books and drums and whatever the hell else. Whiskey. She could drink as much bourbon as she'd like. Go ahead. But that's where we're going to stop right here or I want to take a really quick break. When we come back, more of your calls, and then also inside information. I'm going to start the inside information hotline. Now, I just want to say again, business casual for the Quite Frankly Jamboree. We are 1 month away from the Saturday main event. It's a first of its kind event featuring special guests and friends and family of the nightly show. And I hope that so many more of you, there's not that many tickets left, to be honest, but there's a couple of VIPs from the 15 more we made available after the quick sellout over Independence Day weekend. There's a little bit left of the main event. Wonderful time is going to be had by all, and wonderful food is going to be consumed. And we are backed by fantastic sponsors. And I can't thank Verso and Keto Brainz for Molly helping. Actually, Molly's going to be calling in the second half to tell everybody who won the raffle. But she helped me and Jay put so many of this together. Verso and Signals and Dulce. Of course, Yes Cacao, Paige at the coffee company. What you guys and gals provide for me in your individual sponsorship, it is huge. It is huge for keeping the lights on, for growing, for being able to put new strategies out there for growth, and to turn this into a legitimate, more and more legitimate media operation as the years go on. And we're celebrating 20 years next year. I'll keep saying it because you know what? That's time I served. I'm gonna talk like Phil Leotardo over here. 20 years in the can. I'm never gonna live that one down. And but to Verso and Dulce and Signals that came on to help make this Jamboree, we needed help to be able. This is a wonderful venue, wonderful chefs. We had to go above and beyond. So, ladies and gentlemen, I say be kind to our sponsors because they have been incredibly kind to us in making new things possible. As you can see from what we're doing this year, there's much bigger plans to be able to reach into your personal lives, get you out of the house, read books with us, watch film, and perhaps even come out and have a cocktail. Who the hell knows? And that's all I got for you. All right, with that, I am leaving you on a very, very, very quick break, and we'll be back in a flash.
What is up, guys? Mike Collins here from Wandering Wolf Productions at Easter Island, and you are watching Quite Frankly.
Welcome to Perpetual Health Minute, brought to you by Quite Frankly. Today, we're going to take a look at another sponsor for the Quite Frankly Jamboree, September 5th and 6th. The company is called Verso, and they make a really fantastic and interesting line of what I would consider longevity supplements. I was introduced to them at the first Perpetual Health Retreat, where I actually tried their Cell Being product. And you can see on your screen here, they've actually created a few new products since I was last introduced to them. The one I want to highlight today is the Morning Being product. And essentially, this is a replacement for your coffee, or it can be an addition to your coffee. And I want to call your attention to a couple of the ingredients because I think this is what makes this product super interesting. And I've been experimenting with it over the last month. In fact, if you've seen me on the show in the last month, I've been in a fasted state and I've been using Morning Being to help accelerate and support that fast. And I want to go through some of the ingredients really quickly with you right now. So this has ingredients like moringa, which have antioxidant properties. We have cacao, which we all know polyphenols, theobromine can help improve things like blood pressure. But here are the two ingredients that I think are super interesting. They've added electrolytes like sodium and magnesium. And very often when you drink coffee, since it's a diuretic, you're actually losing minerals. So they've added the minerals back, which is really a smart thing to do. But then they've added epicatechin, which is a green tea extract. And the thing I love about epicatechin and why I use it during a fast is that it does two things. It helps suppress appetite, but it also increases beta oxidation. And beta oxidation is fat mobilization. So you're getting bang for the buck in two places. You're getting the control of your appetite, but you're also getting to upregulate your body's ability to use its own fat stores. So in a fasted state, this is actually a very potent product. So again, I use it in place of coffee because I like to cycle coffee. But if you want to use it in addition to, that's fine as well. And again, if you've seen me in the last month on the show, I've been using this every morning. What I've been doing is putting about 10 ounces of cold water in a mason jar, putting it in the freezer with this product just to get cold enough where it kind of turns slushy, shake it up, and it's like an iced coffee. It's pretty amazing. And the other thing, the bag is $65. So I did a little bit of math for you guys. That's 30 servings. So that breaks down to $2.17 per cup. That's pretty amazing when you think about all the money that people spend at a place like Starbucks. And here you're getting made in the USA ingredients, much higher quality, and they're going to support your fasting, but they're also going to support your quest for longevity. And that's what we do here on the show. So if you haven't checked them out yet, go to their website, ver.so, check out their product. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on perpetualhealth.substack.com. You can also go to Rumble, which is Perpetual Health CO. But for now, and as always, back to the show.
"45 minutes before my coffee." But you know what I take every night is the Evening Being. It's the saffron mixed, of course, the magnesium and things like that. But, you know, whereas all those sleep aids and stuff like that, they usually have the melatonin in it, or the GABA or valerian, as they've read, has none of that stuff. So that's been something I have committed to every night, is the Evening Being. And that was really good. A really great thing to add. It stopped all of my my calf twitching. The muscles were twitching at night. I told Jay about it. He goes, that's all minerals, man. You gotta, so okay, well, I'll put some more salt in my thing. So I put some more salt in my water. That started really layering it in. And then this just took me past the finish line. That was great. By the way, the code is Frankly on ver.so, and you can also find Verso and all of our event sponsors linked on the affiliates page on quitefrankly.tv. So they're all right there with the links and your promo codes. So go and check it out. All right, let's see here. Into the super chats. Jay Britt says, "Frank, I hope you realize what an awesome group of followers you have. The opinions and experiences this collective has will rise to any occasion or topic. Spot on. Great discussion tonight." You know what? I know that, and I've known that for a long time. So my main thing, Jay, is how do I reach into the computer screen and into people's living rooms or in the cabins of their cars or their trucks and wring their necks and go, call in. I know you got it in you. I know you have the stories. I'm waiting for it. We had two angel well, we had one angel story and another messed up Ouija board story. I mean, there's so much stuff. That's the whole point, guys, of the talk show. So, yeah, thank you, Jay. I really enjoy nights like tonight for this reason. And, of course, impromptu. Jay Winnard says, oh, before I forget. Oh, he says, so Epstein was a sex act gone wrong, disguised as strangling. Yes. In the high security, high stakes prison. Yes. It was just a sex act. He was just lumping that into the statistics. Jay Winnard says, oh, before I forget, ha ha ha, up yours, Stern. Sirius XM is dinosaur technology. I would still love to have some kind of Sirius XM syndication, but who's going to listen? I really don't. I don't know. I wish I can see the technology. I appreciate. Again, when you look at AM, FM, and then satellite, the technology is amazing. You know, I remember in 2005, it was like summer 2006. Lauren and I were dating the first time. We would break up that August, but around May, June, July, whenever the hell it was, we went to Vermont for one of her cousin's weddings. And so I'm in my Blazer. I've got my 1997 Chevy Blazer, and Lauren is driving up with me. And I had installed in the Blazer, along with my CD player and all that stuff. These are the little things that I was doing back then. I had my StarMate Sirius XM unit, the StarMate unit. So we put in the thing, you can clip out the unit so nobody steals it, put it back in, plug it into the auxiliary port, whatever. And all of a sudden you have Sirius XM satellite radio. And, the dish was up top and all that. And I thought it was incredible. Why? Because for the first time ever, if I put on the Raw Dog comedy station, or if it was Howard 100, Howard 101, or any of the music stations, any of the other talk shows that they had over there on the Faction channel or whatever the hell it was I was listening to at the time. We're talking 20 years ago now. Or 19 years ago if it's 2006. But the fact that I started off over here, Lauren gets in the car and we're driving up to Vermont, and the stream was uninterrupted. Whereas if I'm listening to WABC over here in New York, or if I'm listening to 770 and the Yankees are on, I know that I'm only going to be able to pick that up so far into Connecticut. And then unless you know all of the affiliates along the way, that you can daisy chain whatever you're listening to together and elongate that experience, then you can't, it's over. But I just always thought it was just so cool that even though we had cell coverage that was coming and going, the fact that we were connecting to something in the atmosphere that was overriding all of that, and whether I was in Vermont or in Westchester, New York, or in Wyoming, I would be able to get the same exact stuff because of that service. That's awesome. Now, just like AM, FM, as I always say, it's the business model we're talking about. It's the FCC. It's mostly the FCC, and how the hell anybody else can get into it. Frequencies, mapping it all out. I had never had anybody on to talk about what managing radio frequencies and range and all of that and bandwidth would really be like without some sort of a governing body. Now, when we're talking about abridging free speech and all that other stuff, and I mean, there's so many places you can go with that. But if we're talking about decentralization of all things, what do you do to? What would the free market solution be for somebody who sets up a radio station and just trounces your frequency? trounces your frequency if you've been set up shop for X amount of time. It's things like that I would like to know. The technology is fantastic. The human voice is never going to go obsolete. Theater of the mind is never going to go obsolete. Listening to a really good conversation, never going to go obsolete. News, whatever the hell it is. It's just, obviously there's a lot more convenient ways of tuning into something right now than pulling out a transistor radio. I get that. And Howard Stern's situation is a combination of all those things. Whereas I would love, and it was a dream of ours. Like I remember we were talking to, Liz Aiello. We were friends with Liz Aiello, who actually helped start Howard 101 and Howard 100, I think. I think she started Martha Stewart Living channel, and I think she also started Patriot, Sirius XM Patriot. In fact, Andrew Wilkow and people used to call Liz Sergeant Liz, because I think she was in the Air Force or something like that. But I knew Liz Aiello, and we haven't talked in a long time, but she was by the first studio, and we had mutual friends and all that stuff. And I remember her asking me, as she saw the studio and she knew kind of what we were doing, we had no audience back then. And perhaps if she watched one of our shows back in 2010, 11, 12, she'd be like, holy shit. Even though Sirius XM they were doing things, they were giving people all types of opportunities to do crazy things because there's no censorship over there. But she asked me, why do you think that you need to be on Sirius, or why do you think you need to be on satellite? And perhaps that was a much larger question about, hey, look at the studio you have here, and look at the wide open frontier that the internet is, and really it was just only starting to materialize. And I guess back then it was just the most obvious thing was, well, hey, Sirius is established, it's nationwide. It's a mode of distribution that I can't just make out of thin air. Obviously, I had the gumption, I had the dedication to make it slowly but surely, and here you are talking to me now. But it's an interesting thought, because that would have been incredible to have had some sort of a feed of ours going to New York where they could then go and hop that across the network on some kind of a channel or whatever. And now, if I were only on Sirius XM, I would feel like, man, we got to get out of here. We got to go off on our own, or we got to find a way to negotiate a way that we can get the show access for free on the internet. We got to be in both places. Like, I would feel like I wouldn't even want all my eggs in that basket anymore. I understand. It's a paid service, and that's what I talk about, the business model, not necessarily the technology, but that paid service. And I pay about, I don't know, it's less than $10 a month because I just have the internet access to the app. But I still like it. I still like all the channels. I just listen to the music to be honest. And sometimes breaking news, and the Yankees are on there too. And I don't know. Why would you want to be on there? Well, now I don't. That's $100 million. $100 million that I don't know if that's $100 million a year. Somebody said that with Howard Stern's contract, that included the budget for the show. And I'm saying to myself, $100 million for that? Now, maybe, I don't know. I just don't know why you need that much money to put that show on. Especially since they do the last time I even peeked in on what the operation was all about, it was like 3 broadcasts a week. And for like 3 or 4 years after 2020, Stern didn't even leave his house. He wasn't even using the studio because he was afraid of COVID. So what the hell was all those tens of millions of dollars for? I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what he does next, because he's not going to quit. All right, Joe Martinez, thank you so much. And Shotzi says, sending some midweek support. I appreciate you. You have no clue. Thank you, Shotzi. Okay, Jay Semo says, great show as usual. This is on Rumble. Let's see. Other Side of the Mountain 2025 says, Frank, do you remember when Broadway and Hollywood actors solemnly read the Mueller report as though they were in a production of Judgment at Nuremberg? That was some deep state crazy. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember so many. I mean, I remember the Hollywood Broadway contingent of actors and actresses that just in the fall of 2016 were begging all of the all the electors to go faithless. Please, Martin Sheen and everybody else. Like, damn. So crazy when you see people who used to be on the outside because they showed some sort of skepticism about official stories for events like 9/11, and then there they are trying to reverse an election because something meanie, Trump's a meanie. Just nuts. Jay Semo says if they ignored the dildos, it would stop. So I agree with the viewer who said it came from the bench. Well, we'll see. Now it's hitting players. And something else is going on with Rumble right now. I'm telling you, there's something very strange going on there. It's just Willie. Right now, and for the last however many, I don't know what it is. It's just John from Connecticut talking to himself in the chat. There's nobody else in there. And there's an unusually low amount of viewers. There's such strange things going on anywhere. I don't know if it's real. What the hell's happening there? But Walsey V says, I love the shirt. Wife got me one. Great show. My J6 story was, well, I went to work. Me too. And every day, I thank God Almighty, that I just went to work on January 6th. Just went to work. All right, let's see here. Let's see. On Pilled, and we're going to be doing extra innings on Pilled in a little bit. I got some incredible videos to watch. Witchy Poo says, sometimes I wish I had hang-up control. I had the hang-up control. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I don't want to hang up on people, but some people just don't. And I'm not talking about tonight. I mean, when Willie calls in, it's always a tug of war match, and it's part of the romance of the whole thing, right? But I don't like hanging up on people. Very, very rarely I just have to do it because they're just not getting it. But yeah, I can imagine what some of you guys and gals do at home, and that's part of the fun too. Safety Net 820 says, I love you, Frank. Here's some canned good vibes for keeping the lights on. One love, Lynn. Rev says, hello, hi. Hold on, let me turn the show down. Okay, hello? Hi, this is Rev. Can I talk to Frank? I want to tell him about my unusual story. Would you like to hear it in excruciating detail? What? Would you like to hear in excruciating detail what I did on January 6th? How about the night of January 5th? Getting stoked about Jamboree, man. Yes, I think Rev will be there. A number of people are going to be there. It's going to be good. Meet these people for the first time. And we will cheers to John in Connecticut. It'll be 3 cheers for Willie. Amethyst Cat says, happy Wednesday, Frank. Happy Wednesday to you too. All right, here we go. 914, let's take a call. 541, you're on the air. Go right ahead. Hello?
You're right ahead.
You're right ahead. And
let's go to 301. Mark, you're on the air. Go ahead. And away he goes. Let's try one more time. 541. One more shot.
let's take a call.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, Frank.
Yes.
Hi, Frank. It's Sandy, Tucson Mama.
Good to have you on, Sandy. Great to hear from you. Go right ahead.
Well, I wanted to hear what you would think if I said about 9 months to a year ago, I came to the conclusion that AI was the Antichrist, and whether you'd want to know about that or not.
Well, if you can put it in a, that's not really in theme tonight. That's a personal theory. We're looking for a wild story from your life, and or inside information that you have gathered from being in a specialized place to have information. So, if you want to bring in maybe on Friday night when we just do open lines for stuff like that, but that doesn't really fall into tonight's theme. Although I have heard a lot of people make compelling arguments that AI is creating AI across the board could be a conduit for antichrist kind of behavior, not even necessarily one person, one entity, but just an opening up of a new age, antichrist age of deception.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I'll try back on Friday, but I was just kind of referring to the AI conversation that you had about Aurora's aging and, all that, but yeah, I guess, I'll try back on Friday, and I just want you to know always that I always love you and pray for you and think about you, and I will talk to you soon.
Well, thank you, Sandy, and I'm with you. I'm with you on the how it. I want to hear how it ties in too, because there's something about those, especially those apps that you can see somebody get older. I saw this other video of a girl and her dad. They're just lounging on the couch, and she's kind of like laying all over him, and they're looking into the phone together, and he has the app that is slowly aging him. So and it's one of those kind of like heartbreaking videos, because at first the girl is kind of like hanging on her father, and they're watching his face change. He's getting a little wrinkly, a little bit gray, a little bit bald, and she's laughing. It's funny, and then all of a sudden she realizes how old he's starting to look, and she starts getting very sad. And it's the same thing for all of us. I just I feel like so much is occupying our time right now, where outside of just getting older, time just seems to fly by, because you have more insight and more responsibilities, but there's also an acceleration that's happening on top of it, and it has to be technologically driven.
You can ask children or teenagers, and they feel like a week is like a month long, not a week long. And I remember just being in a state when I was a kid where a day seemed like it never ended.
Yeah, those days that never ended, they were right now. It was the dog days of summer. It was, you went outside and you felt like you were out there for 5 hours, and it's barely even lunchtime, and you're just dragging ass, but you're having fun. You're trying to park yourself under every tree to get a little bit of shade to give you a reprieve from the sun, and the cicadas are all out there singing together, and I don't know. Sometimes it's all good. And thank you, Sandy. Call in. There's plenty to talk about with that. Let's see here. I got a story here. Hi, Frank. I haven't been in touch in a while, but every time you talk paranormal and crazy, I want to tell this story, but I always listen to the podcast, so I can't respond live. I still love your show. In February of 1982, when I was 19, the 6 of us, 2 guys, 3 girls. Wait, what? What do you mean? 6 of us, 2 guys and 3 girls. That's 5 of you. Are you the 6th? That would make it 4 girls. Okay, never mind. 2 guys, 3 girls went to a cemetery just outside of Billings, Montana. We took an old school cassette, a recorder, and put it upside down on a fresh grave and ran back to the car. We probably smoked a bowl and then went to retrieve the recorder. We got it and again ran to the car. We played back. We heard our footsteps running away and coming back. A small plane overhead and other normal sounds. About 5 minutes in, we all heard at the very same time a very tempered and stern voice saying, "Leave us alone." Of course, we all freaked out and then went to another friend's to play it again. Da-dum. Played the Ouija board to go and not only listen to this EVP you picked up, but then go pick up a Ouija board. We asked the Ouija board one question: how many babies would we have in the future? And it answered correctly for the two of us that asked. Anyway, one of the guys took the cassette home and played it on a stereo with a receiver, with those needles that reflected the sound. The needles moved when our footsteps were heard, and the plane, that moved the needle as well. But they did not move when Leave Us Alone played. None of us messed with any of that shit after that. We were all good Catholic kids, yet one of the guys actually slept with his lights on for a couple of years and became an Assembly of God preacher. Crazy night and all true. Thanks for everything. You give me both joy and clarity in this world. P.S. Canada needs a rescue. Signed, Diane. Well, Diane, I heard something about Canadian secession elections up there, so maybe you have something coming your way. I don't know, but damn. Not only the EVP, which some of those things really freak you out. I've done that stuff. We've done that stuff before. I've got some. I should show you some videos. That stuff freaks you out, but to actually have the audio technology show you signals that are just, they're gone. They're not here, but you're hearing it. Oh boy. Okay, well, here you go. There you go. Let's take a call. All right, King, welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Thank you for having me. Hey, can I do the crazy story thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know how crazy this ranks. I'll let you and your audience be the judge. And I hate making movie references, but I'm gonna because it relates to this. Remember in Saturday Night Fever when they went to fight the Spanish PRs and the guy driving the car punked out and took off on them and left them to fight by themselves?
Yes.
All right. Well, and sometimes you see a movie and you're like, oh, something like that happened to me. So years ago when I was a young man, and I'm not going to say this guy's name, even though I remember it, and you're a punk for doing this. I could put you out there, but I won't, because I don't do that to my friends. But was going out to a club one night, and everybody know back then, hey, you want to score chicks, you go out with Tino, because he attracts the chicks. I'm not bragging. That's just what it was, all right? So, scarce crew that night. It was just me and another guy, and he had a car, and I didn't. So I was like, oh, hey, want to go to the club and try to scoop some chicks? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So we're driving, and there's this car behind us, right? They're being assholes. They're tailgating us, and they're high-beaming us. So I'm in the passenger side, and I flip them the bird out the window, like, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't think nothing of it. We get to a stoplight, right? All of a sudden, the passenger door gets ripped open, and I get dragged out by three guys. And as soon as they drag me out, what does my friend do? He takes off.
Oh, no.
And I'm left to fight three guys by myself. Of course, I lost. I don't know anybody that can beat three guys on their own. You know what I mean? But at least if I had another guy with me, we would have stood a better chance. You know what I mean? And I always tell people, too, all these guys that say, I've never lost a fight. I'm like, then you've never been in a real fight. if you've never lost a fight. So, of course, I got my ass handed to me by 3 guys. They take off. I'm standing there in the middle of the street, and I'm like, where the fuck is this guy? And then he pulls up just like Bobby C in Saturday Night Fever. He pulls up a couple minutes later when the coast is clear. I get in the car, and I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Oh, man.
And he's like, what? I'm like, what do you mean, what? The fuck you take off? You just fucking leave me to fight 3 guys? You couldn't fucking help me? He's like, I'm like, you fucking punk, man. You fucking punk.
And you were all messed up, too.
Of course I was. Frankie, they tore my brand new that I bought that night specifically for this occasion, a very nice red Le Tigre polo shirt, ripped and destroyed.
Man.
Wasn't even a day old. And I spent good money on that shirt.
Le Tigre, you said?
Le Tigre. It was a knockoff of Izod. You remember how Izod had the alligator? Le Tigre was like a little bit of a knockoff. It was a little less expensive, and it had a little tiger on it instead of the alligator.
I'm looking at it right now. Hold on, wait. Red polo, but this would be like what year? About what year?
Le Tigre, it was the late 70s, early 80s.
I'll say 1982. Let me see if I can find the shirt right now. Le Tigre, Reds, polo size shirt. I can't. I mean, they're all.
I was a better dancer back then, Daniel Buriu. I'm just responding to the chat room. Sorry.
Vintage polo from. Oh, hold on. Wait a second. Let me see if I can open this image in a new. All right, hold on. Was it something like this? I mean, this is striped.
No, it wasn't striped. It was solid red. If you just Google Le Tigre polo shirt.
But look. It might be on delay, but tell me if it's like this but solid.
Hold on, I haven't seen it come up yet. It was a nice shirt, Frankie. Yes,
that's it.
Yes. Nice. Bought it specifically for that night to scoop chicks. Destroyed before I even got to the club.
Man, well, that's it. It is a crazy story, and I can't believe the guy, your friend, even came back for you. It's like
the balls, right? Where does he get his balls?
I know.
After leaving me like that, I couldn't face a friend after doing that.
It's crazy. Well, I mean, thank you. You know what? Maybe one of these days, I'll surprise you with a new Le Tigre polo shirt.
I love you, baby.
All right, that's I'm gonna put that on my Amazon list for Christmas. We'll see what happens. All right, man. Thanks for the call.
All right, thank you for having me.
There you go, King. 3-on-1 got ditched. That is a crazy story. Let me see. Hold on, I've got to call. Let me see here. I got to call Molly. I'm going to call Molly from Keto Brainz. Hold on a second.
Hello?
Molly, is this you?
It's me. Happy, what is it, Wednesday? Happy Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Happy hump day to you. And I'm just so, I don't know if you've been watching or not. I don't know if you have any crazy stories of your own, but I don't know. Any thoughts about tonight's show at all?
I don't. I was racking my brain for something actually crazy, and the only thing I've got is a kind of goofy story from when I was like 6 or 7 years old. Nothing super crazy, but I thought Snoopy called my house, and I legit believed that Snoopy was on the phone for my dad. And so when I grew up, my parents were hippies. Everyone was hippies. Everybody had weird names. One of my dad's friends was named Mud. One of them was named Soupy. All the kids were Liberty and Flower and Summer and Autumn and Winter. And, you know, I'm out in the middle of the woods. We lived on a tiny dirt road, a town of 90. And I just remember the phone rang and I picked it up. And the person on the other end, I heard, "Hi, this is Snoopy. Can I talk to your dad?" And I ran around the house so excited and trying to find my dad to let him know that Snoopy was on the phone. And I've never felt anything like that again, where
Wow.
something not real was real to me as a ridiculous little child. So again, nothing super crazy, but there's something about like when you're really young and you don't know, you don't yet know what's real, the possibility of a cartoon character being real still exists.
Yeah.
And there's just this special feeling that I'll never forget where for a moment, I believed and saw Snoopy waiting on the other end for my dad, but it was just some random hippie dude named Soupy.
You know what? I'm going to accept that story because that is just that's so important on quite a few levels, and it reminded me of just the story I was telling about Aurora and her apprehension going to the Paw Patrol show at Madison Square Garden last April. Before the show started, I asked her. I said, you know, all the kids were so excited, and she was kind of excited too. But I can tell she was thinking about something. I said, what's going on? You excited? She goes, yeah. I'm just wondering if it's really going to be Paw Patrol or if it's going to be people in costumes. And this was her at, this was her at 3. And I thought that we were I thought we were going to be able to suspend disbelief just a little bit longer, but it was, oh man. Yeah, I get you.
Well, it's going to be harder these days. You know, all I had growing up was PBS and the local channel. So, you know, kids today are exposed to all of the layers of reality that slowly get the layers of what we think is real when we're children lasted longer, 40 years ago than they do now, because kids are exposed to too much. They're exposed to all of the layers of BS. So I think that they're going to evolve past certain things much quicker and other things much slower, unfortunately, because there's less, I think there's less true difficulty. But I think the difficulty kids are going to go through these days, in my opinion, is going to be deeper and a little more psychologically difficult to get through sometimes.
Yeah, well, yeah. To your point, I think that putting the cart before the horse, so much of what early childhood education has been turned into, which is really just in many ways activist indoctrination and political training and all that stuff, that really puts the cart before the horse, where they're trying to impart adult emotional baggage onto children who should really just be being children for now, and because they
should be
they should be exploring, experiencing, and learning, and that needs to come, like that experiential thing that some of us who grew up in the woods and who are Gen X, where we just went out and did shit and we got hurt and we learned, don't do that. I can't imagine growing up without the ability to go out into the wild and, get lost and remember how to get back, go out 2 miles down the road to pick berries and know what snakes to watch out for and not to watch out for, and make sure you know how to swim so you don't drown in the creek. Like, how many kids have the ability to just go do what they're supposed to do? Like puppies need to play fight so they learn their boundaries, and I don't think kids are allowed that quote unquote play fighting anymore.
No.
And to your point, they've got this empty vessel that should be, it's being filled with a bunch of bullshit. Let them come to their own conclusions about what they think about reality, and give them the tools to be clear, rational thinkers so they can process reality. And we're just here, this is what we think reality is. Take this and now go live your life, instead of letting their brains develop.
I know, and you know, since we're talking about life experiences and crazy stories and whatever, you know, many of us, even though we're all born in different generations, are still, there's those windows of time where things happen to us, and we all have pretty similar upbringings in that respect, and this is all the foundation for how we perceive the events of our lives in many respects. So
yep.
It's just, you know, base level programming, and it's an interesting conversation. I'm glad to see where it all blossomed tonight, but you're calling in tonight to also bring not only a little bit of your own stories to the table, but you have some good news. We have a raffle winner.
Yes. Yeah. So I decided there will be 2 raffle winners, because there are ladies and there are gentlemen, and I decided to do a male and a female winner. So we actually have 2 winners this time. So we have Mary Dowdy and we have Kevin Overbay as our winners for this month.
Wow. Kevin, I know Kevin. Congratulations, Kevin. And Mary who?
Mary Dowdy, Dowdy is
Mary?
Yep.
Well, Mary Dowdy. Well, the good thing is that these raffle winners are all based on purchases that were made over the weekend. So you're going to be able to reach out right to them. But congratulations. What did they both? Yep. What did they each win?
So each of them will get one of the whole body vibration plates.
Oh, damn!
They will get a bottle of the BPC 157. They will get a bag of Keto Brainz, and they will get a bag of our new creatine stick packs.
That's a lot. Wow, that's a lot of great stuff right there. I'll tell you, there's a few ladies in the Discord who have been talking about their vibration plates that they got from you, and they're all, you know, their morning morning routines.
Love it. Dude, it's, you know, you get a little addicted to it, and I know there's science behind the why, but it's like parts of your body that don't get circulation on the regular, and especially like, you know, if you have some sort of, like me, I've got all sorts of old injuries, and circulation to tendons and joints is bad in humans to begin with. I love to get on it before I go work out or after I work out, and I'll even do like a plank on it for my torn rotator cuff.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
It's a great tool, and I recently, I forget the guy's name, some famous actor, but I'm not good with famous people names. He was on Rogan, and he got run over by a giant snowplow, and some of your audience will remember, like, he literally got chewed up by this thing and should not have been alive. And I was kind of shocked to hear him talk about how he used the whole body vibration plate in the beginning of his journey back to, you know, being a functional and non-smushed human. So there's real science behind it, as goofy as it may feel and sound at first. I'm a huge fan.
Well, thank you. You know, again, thank you for just people are having so much fun with all the different aspects of your company and your work, and you've been a wonderful addition to our family over here. KetoBrainz.com. Of course, if you become a monthly sponsor, well, it's mutual, and that's what's made all this fun, right down to planning of this September event. And so, yeah, get in touch with Molly if you have any questions about just how any of the things work. I mean, there's so much technology and so many amazing things that are being brought to market right now. And thanks again for the call, my friend.
Of course. Have a great night, everyone. I just appreciate your entire audience. They're the most lovely humans, and I feel blessed that Jay put me in front of you. So thank you all. Have a great night.
Thank you. And I, you know, in the same way, I feel blessed that Jay put the first bag of Keto Brainz in front of me at the Vermont trip in 2023, because that was a whole year of me enjoying that stuff before I even thought that, you know what? Why is it out of the realm of possibility that I couldn't be friends with the person who makes this? And there you go. That link in the promo codes are in the description below or on the affiliates page. Go have at it. All right. 8:50. Got a couple of minutes here before we cast off into the sunset and I start extra innings. A really cool thing happened last night with extra innings. So we went live as soon as the end credits go up. I switch over to solely pilled.net. And we go for another 25 minutes or so, I thought. And then I realized, I have all of the lights programmed to go off here in the studio at 9:30. So when the lights went off on me, I said, we're going to lean into this. We're just going to go until the lights go off. And I'm excited about that. I have a couple of things to watch with you guys tonight. I'm just going to be reading the chat room, the general chat room. And that's what we have coming up in a few minutes. I have one more paranormal story. And I think maybe I will do the inside information. I don't know. I got inside information here for 10 minutes. We just had so much coming through on the other hotline that it was just, I don't know. Maybe I should save this so we can do an inside info night. I'm going to have to change the damn titles again. I always think we're not going to have enough, then we have too much. Listen to this for inside info. Frank, this is from a viewer of the show. I'm not going to say his name, but he's been watching for a long time, and he has a background in remote viewing. I always thought it's very interesting. I believe him. Frank, when I was in remote viewing training in 2006, David Morehouse had many Q&A sessions, and he was very open. During one session, a question about TWA 800 came up. As it turns out, one of the many insurance investigators had suspicions that did not make sense. He contacted David and his personal viewing team to view the accident. As I recall, it was almost 20 years ago. The insurance investigator was confused by the melted shoes and the skin in the galley. Melted shoes and skin in the galley. This was during the Clinton administration, post-Reagan, who funded Star Wars research. I know you brought up Raytheon, but David brought up GE, General Electric. Please note, oftentimes military contractors often do joint ventures. What David's group came up with and found backup support. What David's group came up with and found was backup support. Flight 800 was late departure. It was also a lower than normal departure, one of those lower lanes, which happens to be designated for military lanes. As it happens, GE had and has a facility on the Jersey Shore. Drones were unknown to the general public back then. They had a plan to test an energy weapon that day. The idea was to shoot down the drone and to collect the data on this new technology, the energy weapon. Because TWA 800 was late on departure and designated in a designated military lane, the weapon melted the side of the plane where the stewardess was and melted the shoes and the skin. 800's departure time and elevation were verified. News stories said people reported seeing a rocket, but that was the drone. An NBC News reporter was all over the story. When GE found out about this reporter, she was immediately fired, unable to enter the NBC building to remove personal belongings. While this was many years ago, most of what I describe is verifiable. Above the CIA, is described as the black CIA, above the known CIA, that's how the CIA is able to have operations in the USA. And then it goes to a few things. The 9/11 pilots were trained at a known CIA flight training school in Florida. The CIA made money importing drugs, mostly cocaine, to help finance their covert operations. Yeah, Gladio. And it goes on and on. But someday I'll tell you of a neighbor, a quarter mile down the road, who was the target of, who was the largest pot importer in the history of the U.S. They fled the guns into Nicaragua. I just said the N-word. For Oliver North, great story. I only know about it because during the police investigations, they interviewed the neighborhood. Well. Looks like we have more inside information coming our way. So that's a new story. That's something, and this qualifies as inside information because it came by way of known associates within the remote viewing apparatus of the country. Whatever stock you put into that, it wasn't a rocket; it was a drone. A drone was supposed to be essentially like you going out disc shooting with your shotgun. It wasn't about shooting things down with missile guidance. It was about energy weapons. Well, that's one thing. If you guys have anything to add to that or detract from that, write in, and that'll be the basis for one of our inside information hotline nights that we'll do sometime soon. At least now I don't have to take down the title of the show. That's that. 8:57. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate this. And for extra innings, we're going to be hanging out a little bit, just letting it all hang out at this point. And yeah, and also, again, on pilled.net, get into that chat room. If you just want to skip over real quick, it's in the middle of quitefrankly.tv, but I'm going to drop the link into the chat room. Pilled.net is the great way to become a monthly sponsor for free. Okay, there's a lot of people gifting subscriptions over there. Whenever you see that happen in the Pilled chat room, grab it fast because that makes you a subscriber, a monthly supporter of the show. And with that comes all the universal perks of the Sunday streams and the culture clubs, and all of those stream links get sent right to your Pilled inbox, your direct messages, instead of getting it through email or posted on Patreon or Subscribestar. So it's a very legitimate way of becoming a not only a monthly supporter of the show by way of somebody else's generosity, but also to be able to experience what being a sponsor is like. And it happens often because there's just really great people over there, as there are in other chat rooms. But we have this special relationship with the guys over there at Pilled for extra special programming. Extra Innings starts in just a minute. So thank you guys and gals. I'll see you over there right now. And I'll see you tomorrow for the rest of you.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Quite Frankly is filmed before a live studio audience, and now the Super Chatters. Larry Whitaker just says, missed part of the show. Thanks for sharing my story about the entity I saw in the hotel room in India. That moment became the catalyst for a book I've written, worth retelling. I'll email you. Can't wait to hear about it, Larry. Thank you. Jay Britz, thank you. Again, Jay Winard. Joe Martinez, a lot of J's in there today, J's and L's. And thank you, Shotzi, for kicking it all off. To everybody over on Rumble, you've been fantastic. The mystery of Rumble. What is it all about? Waltzy V, Jay Semo, thank you for the Rumble rants. And for everybody on Pilled, I'm about to release the scratch and write. Actually, I won't do that because I'm about to stay live on Pilled. And thank you guys, one and all. The chat room link will be shared right now. All right, that's it. Thanks, everybody.
Will you shut up?